Hey everyone, this is Parag Nevetia from Easy Funding Solutions, a business finance advisory and consulting company located in Piscataway, New Jersey. You can also find us on the web at www.easyfundingsolutions.com. Wanted to today take some time and talk about the journey to financing. Um, the journey to financing is very close to my heart because it talks about the pain, it talks about the solution, it talks about what people feel when they are frustrated with documentation or presentation or projections, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Um, and by doing this, I'd like to kind of reintroduce you to Easy Funding Solutions, where being a business finance advisory and consulting company, our job is to make businesses bankable. My background comes from being in banking. For those who know me, I was in commercial lending for about 15 years and 5 more years in retail banking as well. So I was in banking for 20 years over 7 different banks in the New York, New Jersey metro region. And 8 years ago, I decided to leave the corporate world to be able to create a path to help entrepreneurs and banks both be able to find solutions to various money related problems. When I say money, I mean you either need money or you have money, but you're not keeping your numbers right. And when you don't keep your numbers right and when you have money, often you run into trouble with the banks. So we have solutions at Easy Funding Solutions where we can help you sustain your business, the debt that you have, and be profitable and show equity in the business. So there are various solutions. I'm not going to go over that right now. The focus on today's uh, podcast, video cast, is really to talk about the journey in financing, where we help you create arguments, right? Make business models to support your project. We structure and pre underwrite loans. We bring realistic figures and logic basically to your presentation so that when a bank gets our project report, they're wowed by what they see in it, the data, the logic, um, and then demographics, your strengths and weaknesses as the guarantors, et cetera, et cetera. You can say finally, yeah, we are a consulting company that serves both the entrepreneurs on one side and banks on the other side as our clients. So getting financing, in my opinion, is like building blocks. It's like telling a story and sticking to it, right? You say you want money, this is how you want to make money, this is how you want to grow your business. Now you've planned it out, but now you want to stick to the plan. If you deviate from the plan, you get into trouble. So getting financing is like building blocks. For example, again, how much money you need, what do you want it for, and how you intend paying back. But you got to stick to the plan. There's logic involved, there's common sense involved, there's honesty involved, and there's math, right? If the numbers don't make sense, numbers don't lie, guys. If numbers don't make sense, there's a problem. You make projections. It's very easy to throw in 2 columns, 2 years, everything divided by 12. There's no logic to it. There's math to it. There's numbers to it. There's no logic to it. So that's a problem. And then let's talk about the unknown, right? Um, when you apply for a loan, you don't know. Banks don't know. Clients don't know what the banks want to see, how the banks want to see, what they want to see. The clients don't know who the client is. They hope that they get somebody who can present clearly, but that's a problem, right? And then the bigger unknown is whether you will be able to do what you've kind of demonstrated on your business plan to be able to be successful and pay back the loan. So there's too many factors over here that, you know, basically we're just going to call it unknown, right? And then there's um, what if something goes wrong, right? And not as planned. Now we call that risk, right? Risk is something that banks have to take to lend entrepreneurs money, loans, financing, to give out financing. But the banks have to measure the risk, take a calculated risk, and there's got to be enough reason to believe that the risk is mitigated, right? It could be experience, it could be deep pockets, reserves, it could be collateral, it could be a credit score, it could be a team of people that you may or may not have, the right kind of people that you may or may not have. And you don't know that, right? So you start with somebody and then you find out 6 months later that this person actually is not the right person for the job. So there's a risk over there from employment standpoint. So unknown is one, and then there's the risk on the other side that banks are worried about. Um, the reality of financing, although, is that very often it does get complicated, right? Um, the unknowns do come out, right? Um, and they cause a bit of confusion, frustration, um, when the numbers don't line up. So that's where the so-called pros in our industry, in the financing world, the underwriters, the smarter loan officers, the credit savvy loan officers, um, the number wizards, as I refer to, they come in on one side along with the legal warriors, the attorneys. So what happens is you structure a loan, you underwrite a loan, and you start thinking about closing a loan, and then you run into a wall at some point. Now, some dynamic changes. Um, Numbers don't add up. Um, and that's where the legal attorneys come in to play: bank attorneys, client attorneys, seller's attorney, landlord attorney. So there are so many different attorneys that could possibly play a key role in diffusing the problem. Um, you know, that almost all projects invariably land themselves into that problem. Again, unknown risk, and they all eventually run into a wall. That's where um, you need the attorneys to come in, get to the table, and figure out a solution to get to the closing table at the end of the day. It's like all the building blocks lead to sometimes miscalculation, restructuring, um, redoing a little bit of this and that, right? Rebuilding to eventually saving the day, which again is the closing table that we all need to get to, right? But keep in mind that this journey of getting money is never easy. It's like a long tunnel, right? Where you see the end of the tunnel, but you're not quite there yet. Um, it's pretty much the same anywhere in the world, right? When you access financing, when you go to a bank, whether you're in United States or you're in any other country, pretty much fundamentally, financing is the same, right? It's the journey is pretty much the same. Um, it's all these pieces coming together, aligning together, right? Provisioning, misfiring sometimes, correcting the figures, realigning, right? Refocusing. Sometimes, we go a different direction and you want to kind of get back and refocus. Paperwork, redoing paperwork. You filled out the form. There was a error in filling up the form. Now you got to redo the form. Basically, re-provisioning, improvising, and reprocessing, and finally seeing the daylight at the end of the tunnel, which is a closing table. It's a phenomenon. It's a process. It's a journey, right? unfortunately, most of the time, while the end result is always fruitful, I'd like to say, in my opinion, no one has anything good to say uh, about the journey because it's frustrating. There's no fun left at the end of this journey. You know, sometimes it could be months. Uh, Occasionally, it's been, you know, 2 years as well. I can vouch for it as a consulting company. We've taken 16 months, 24 months to close projects. Why? Because things happen, right? Between a buyer and a seller, things happen. And when things happen, you need somebody to kind of step in and try and see how you can have them refocus. They have differences, arguments, and then it takes days, weeks sometimes to get the project back on the same line, so that we can get to the closing table. It's happened. So nobody really has like a very good experience because it can be frustrating, annoying. So therefore there's no fun left in the journey. Right? It's painful and leaves bad memories. But yet at the end of the day, when you get to the closing table and when you see a check in your hands or directly deposit into your account, money talks. Right? um, I've had clients after closing said, I don't want to go back through SBA again. But guess what? If all the other doors are closed for you, SBA is the only door open. At that point, that's all you've got. So, um, money talks is all I can say, right? It does cause frustration and pain, and the journey is not as pretty as it seems to be or as you want it to be. But at the end of the day, when you get to the closing table, obviously it's it's the best feeling, right? Because you're now able to start your dream of owning a business, running a business. So guys, this is the topic for the day, the journey of financing. There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to follow. As a former banker, as now an advisory company certified by SBA to underwrite credit, we do 90% of the bank's work so that we can speed up the process and eventually kind of give you almost a 95 to 99% guarantee of an approval. If not, there's a problem. And now we put a consulting hat on and fix your problem before we take you into a bank. 99% of the times when our projects have gone into banks, they have gotten approved. There's no reason why a project doesn't get approved if you've done all the hard work upfront. Easy Funding Solutions, again, is a company that doesn't get you money. It really clears the path to get you the money. And the difference between the two is I can throw things against the wall to see if it sticks, or I can do stuff to make it stick on the wall. What we do is the latter. We put so much logic, data, compliance um, into our projects, our client projects, that the banks, when they look at it, they're like, wow, this is awesome. It's got everything that we need to see. You know, pretty much the chances of approval are 99%. I always leave 1% out only because, let's be fair about this, there have been situations where clients have hid something from us. There's no magic wand to this, guys. There's no magic wand. It's just logic and data and compliance. So if you fall short in one of those things, eventually you're going to get into trouble. We're going to find out, and the loan is going to get declined. So it's prudent to be smart up front and to give us enough information up front so that we can present you in the best light and um, basically get you to your goal, which is the closing table. We put in about 100 hours on every file from start to finish. So we're going to be best friends basically, right? For the next 100 hours or so. And it doesn't end there. The journey doesn't end there. Our journey in fact, really starts from that point, because now if you want, we have a solution, which is business sustainability, as you can see behind me, where we help people keep their numbers lined up for growth, for future. And even if it's not growth or future, or maybe an element of it, you get to a point where in a business cycle, you want to sell your business. We talk about equity in the business. If you don't show the numbers correctly, enough equity in the business, you're dreaming. And you're in a fantasy world if you think you're going to get the kind of money that you should be getting, because if your tax returns don't show the right equity in the business and the balance sheet doesn't show that kind of the equity in the business, you're not going to get the right kind of price when you sell the business. So there's a lot of education, there's a lot of assistance that we can give to help you get to that point. The problem that I've seen is a lot of times accountants help you on the profit and loss. Most accountants help you on the profit and loss, where they help you save on taxes. But it's not just saving taxes, it's about building your equity in the business, your balance sheet as well. So the conversation needs to start from this point on, where you need to have that educated conversation with your accountants and CPAs about a balance sheet and how important and why the balance sheet is important. Again, not going to bore you. That's a topic for a different day. Right now, journey of financing is the key to this video segment. And I'd like to open it up for any phone calls. You can call us at 732 384 3366 is our office line. You can send us an email with a question or any kind of questions that you have, business related questions you have, at inquiry, INQUIRY, at easyfundingsolutions.com. Go to our website, send us, get in touch with us through the website. We have a brand new website, guys. 2 weeks ago, we launched the new website, and we encourage you to please go look around at different pages, different tabs. We have a partner page with different kinds of professionals out there in the business community. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to partner up with you. We'd love to help more people with you. So this is Parag Nevatia. I thank you for watching this segment. Until the next time, take care. Bye-bye.